that money either. So every single thing of that video, this video here, was completely wrong that you guys did. It was fascinating to me because I feel like you, at the very least, I believe that you care about the information you're putting out. And this was all wrong. And
so they're up there. So Sam, this was all a lie. These guys were up there just completely.
I hate that the answer to this is yes. It's so sad because, like, I kind of get why, if you're a defender of this administration, you're like, oh, you mean to tell me that everything that this professional administration is posting about the ridiculous cuts to expenditures is a lie? And it's fucking sad that the answer is yes. Pretty much everything. It's either that they don't like and think is silly to spend money on, and that's a matter of debate, fine, or directly fabricated cuts, like just not a thing that was real, that or a program that no longer is continuing anyway. It's like a program where the budget for the program was like $800 million, and they've already spent like $799 million of those dollars, and they go, we just cut $800 million by ending this program. And it's like, no, you already spent it. You didn't cut shit. You cut $1 million. That's what you cut.
Bullshit with all the numbers. Where he's saying that people in the government are blowing the whistle.
And when they're talking about like non-citizen Social Security numbers, like, yeah, no, that's completely made up. Dude, Social Security, before they started firing federal administrators, Social Security is so crazy that if you died and you accidentally collected a Social Security paycheck, like hit your bank account and you died, they would take that away from you. Like, the government claws back every dollar. They take it out of your account directly. It's so funny that these guys are like, nah, there's just so much fraud happening. And in spite of all that, is there fraud happening? Certainly, of course. You know, it's impossible to combat fraud to a degree where there's just no fraud whatsoever, but it's marginal. The idea that there are, tens of thousands of 300-year-olds in America or whatever that are collecting Social Security is fucking ridiculous.
So he didn't want to say their names. He was giving them praise. And for Sam, for you to say that you care about the kids and the labor and all that stuff. We've had an open border for 4 years, and all the illegals, way more than 10 million, have come into this country.
And they're moving away from Social Security to the illegals now.
It's unbelievable how many illegals have come in the past 100 days.
But this is the part to just be very, just show the data. Illegal immigration, this is Wall Street Journal, is a bigger problem than ever.
Oh, no, that's
These
fake
five
news.
charts explain why. Go a little bit lower. That's under Biden.
Trump got shot trying to show these charts, literally.
This is October of 2023. Go to the next one.
A guy who was registered Republican.
Here's another one.
I love the simple-minded thinking here. Trump got shot trying to show these. Yeah, the registered Republican was too scared of Donald Trump showing the truth about illegal immigration. That's why he shot him. I love that. It's just like loose association of things that happen, you know?
Yeah, can I address what his
let me just show the data, and then I want you to say what you want to say. Go a little bit lower with the data, Ron. No, because he said it's inaccurate. This is another one here.
Okay, well, go back up. Go back up to the.
And then go to the last one, Rob. Go to the last one, Rob.
Go to the top one here.
I mean, this is the numbers you're talking about.
Charts.
So this is you can
start one by one. Go up.
Explain every one of them. Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can see that this is what constitutes illegal immigration. These are, if it was an open border, you would not have these numbers. You would not have the numbers to know when Title 42 ends.
Yeah,
more people are coming to the border and they're being put into a system. Period.
That's the best part about it.
And that's the
yeah, that means that automatically implies that the border is not open. Like, the very fact that there's border apprehensions during illegal crossings implies that the border is not open. It means that there's an encounter taking place with a Customs and Border Patrol officer. Many of those cases are actually legal asylum claimees. Okay, they have a legal right to be inside of the U.S. Inside of U.S. boundaries to seek asylum. They have a legal right. You might not agree with it, but it does not matter. It is a legal right that they have to as long as Trump doesn't change that, which he is probably going to, but that's just a human right that they have. Number two, the argument here is to process these people expeditiously rather than trying to have this rigid enforcement structure that is costly, especially because undocumented migrants, non-citizens in general, documented and undocumented, are not a burden. They're not a strain on our resources, they're actually a benefit to the American economy. Not only are they a benefit to the American economy, they could offer more benefits to the American economy if they were documented. This is not only the appropriate thing to do, it's also a popular policy. When given two options, mass deportation or conditional mass amnesty, Americans, by overwhelming numbers, choose conditional mass amnesty if those are the two options. The problem is Democrats never present that second option.
Open border would mean that we have no records of people coming across the border. The law in this country has been that if you put your foot in this country, it's an international law, it's a U.S. law. If you put your foot in this country and you apply for asylum, you are due a process to do that.
Yep, thank God. He's right.
98% of those people who are then what you guys would call catch and release come back for their hearings. We are woefully understaffed in terms of like immigration judges, and that process is definitely broken. I would love to see more money spent in the processing of these people so that we can establish which ones, like your family,
like my family as well, illegal immigrants.
But came in through a refugee status. They weren't citizens on day one. They came in, they went through a process. It's determined that, yes, their claim for asylum is appropriate or not, et cetera, et cetera. That's what we're looking at there. As you scroll up on those other charts, you can see when Title 42 ends, which was only supposed to be an emergency situation that has to do with health, and you can't have it both ways. Either COVID ends or it doesn't end, the pandemic. And so people come in. There's no doubt, and that number on that chart that Musk had, under Biden, more people received temporary protected status. We had a problem in Haiti as the country is falling apart. You had people from Ukraine coming in because of, obviously, the invasion. These are all under temporary protected status. They all got Social Security numbers so they could pay taxes into our government and not necessarily get...
Yeah. Undocumented non-citizens and documented non-citizens alike also get an ITIN, okay, an ITIN. This is not so that they can get Social Security payments, but instead this is so they can pay into Social Security. This is something that a lot of dumbasses on the Republican side don't understand. It quite literally is the opposite of what they think. These guys don't get to collect Social Security payments. They pay into it, though.
Get the services back.
Yes, and vote for Democrats.
No, they can't vote.
Right.
Those Social Security cards.
You can't. You cannot vote. Just because you have an ITIN doesn't mean you can vote. If I'm not mistaken, there are either none or very few instances of someone who is illegally voting. You cannot vote. You cannot vote with an ITIN. There's like one instance in the last election cycle where a student on a student visa tried to vote, or I think ended up successfully voting. And of course, they subsequently, I think they deported him as a Chinese student. That's it, though. It was in Michigan. There have been numerous studies from Republican think tanks, bipartisan think tanks, independent commissions that have extensively looked at whether or not there is mass voter fraud happening.
Cards literally say on the card, say you can't use this for voting.
AOC said we don't have an illegal immigration problem. We have a documentation problem. That's
She's right. She was correct on that. We don't have an illegal immigration problem. We have a problem with processing and documenting migrants expeditiously. She is 100% correct. What the hell is going on?
That's what AOC said. So this is not something new. You know how when you talk about who's better at gerrymandering, the left or the right?
Republicans seem to be better at that.
The Republicans are
I know,
much better.
I agree. Guess what? So it's not like they can fight it and say, no, we're not. That's their reputation. They have it. They're better at gerrymandering.
Okay, Republicans are better at gerrymandering, which is objectively true. That doesn't mean that you can just like make something up and then be like, well, why don't you concede about this made up thing? Republicans are better at gerrymandering, which is why you have to admit that Democrats are better at, I don't know, killing old people. What do you mean? Excuse me. You can't just make an erroneous claim like this. Where is this coming from?
When you sit here and you watch yourself, when you're saying these policies and you spew out these policies, what the average person does, they'll watch it and if they've already outgrown it, because today the problem